Najua huwa watu wanunio Na huyo ni nani?
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, Dominic. Yeah, we can hear you.
Eh.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, Dominic.
Okay, thank you guys. I'm sorry for the delay. We're starting at exactly 8:15.
Okay.
So hello everyone once again. I'm Dominica. Our trainer is already in, and I think we'll just begin right away. Hope you've all joined the Google Classroom. So without wasting much time, let me introduce our trainer. Mark, karibu sana.
Thank you, Dominic, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I hope you had a good day. Kama unanisikia, you can send a message hapo kwa chat or open the mic for a second and confirm kama nanipata vizuri, ndio usiache nyuma. So am I loud and clear? Okay, thank you, Cynthia, Vivian, for the confirmation. Yeah, that's a good number, and I believe that everyone can hear. So before we even do much, let me just remind you that we have a Google Classroom, and I hope that every one of us has already joined. So please make sure that you're not left behind, because we have assignments flowing in right after this lesson, and I'll be looking at each assignment and the responses from each one of you, so that we can be able to trace the performance of each one, okay? Yeah, because we want to get the best out of this. Na mlisema you want to have the industry standard skills and maybe experience, and we cannot do that without commitment. So the best way is for us to devote ourselves when it comes to maybe assignments and a few things here and there. Just do what is expected of you, okay? Yeah, and by so doing, we'll make the learning interesting. So we had a poll during the day, na tulikuwa tumeambiwa to indicate ni watu wangapi wako na laptops, wangapi hawana access to laptops. I think niliona responses are a few people, not so many. So please also note that it's important to answer questions. Anything that is posted on the group, especially details kama hizi, how many people have laptops, how many do not, that is what is guiding us on the mode of teaching that you're going to adapt. So to the 12 of you who responded, thank you so much. So it's half. 6 of you said that they have access to laptops, and 6 of you said that they do not have. So my advice would be try and secure a good laptop, okay? Maybe a minimum of 8 GB RAM with a good processor, at least i5, that is if we are using Intel, okay? Because we'll be doing some good stuff. But if you're on Android or iOS, don't feel left out. We'll find a way of allowing each one of us to participate in this, whether you're using a laptop or a mobile phone, because after laying the basic foundation of design, which is the principles, the elements of design and such things, they will apply to anyone, regardless of the device that you're using. So I think that brief introduction is clear. And yesterday I gave an assignment when I attended the first meeting, and I asked you guys to find out what the definition of graphic design is. So I don't know how many of us did the assignment, but if you did so, it's good for you. So you can unmute and tell us what graphic design is. What do you understand by the term graphic design?
Kwanza ule Mfaransa wetu.
Mfaransa, yeah. Nisi kama ako hapa.
Nimemsahau though.
Amejificha. So who did the research? What is the definition of graphic design? I'll be sharing my screen in a few, and I believe we should be able to see. Delvis, you were in yesterday's meeting, so what do you understand by the term graphic design? The host, can you kindly grant me access to share my screen?
Graphic design, basically what I understand is it entails on how maybe you design something, maybe it can be maybe in a picture form or something that.
I think I lost you, Delvis. What did you say?
I'm saying graphic designing, according to my own understanding, it entails maybe the use of something to do with administration or something that looks like a picture to pass information or maybe to advertise something or anything of that sort of, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Delvis mentioned some important things. He mentioned pictures, he mentioned advertising, and also the conveying of information. That is a good definition. So I'm still waiting for sharing abilities. Host, kindly can check on that. I'd like to share my screen.
Working on it in a few. Maybe try claiming those at the moment. Just try.
Okay.
Mark.
Yes.
Hapo kwa participants, invite, claim host, try that one as I check on it.
Yeah, you can share the host game.
Okay.
So as we wait for that to be sorted, anyone else with a definition of graphic design? Veronica Mwende, you were in class yesterday, same as Mayweather Rogers. I saw you yesterday. Anybody else? And Vivian also. Wangapi wamesoma ahead? What is design? Okay, so basically when you're talking about graphic design, we making reference to the use of visual elements, for example, pictures to convey a message. And in graphic design, we don't only convey a message or pass a message using pictures only. We have what we call the design elements, okay? We have the line, we have the shape, we have what you call the white space or the negative space. We also have color. Color is actually an element in design, and those are the foundational things which make up graphic design. And as we move on, we'll realize that some of these things cannot be used in isolation, same to design principles, which we'll be defining in a few. So once I'm able to share, I'll be projecting that. But just to take you through quickly, so I mentioned that you'll come to realize that the design principles cannot be used in isolation. Yes, they are a set of rules which guide us on how to best convey information, how to best pass a message to the people. And we should look at design from a viewpoint of solving problems, because when a client approaches you and they want you to maybe design a poster, that client came to you because they have a certain problem, okay? Probably this person wants to make a sale of a new product. This person might approach you because they want to create awareness. This person might approach you because they want to raise funds, maybe for a certain campaign. So every time that you're designing, you have the problem of the client at the back of your mind, because as a designer, you are a problem solver. So you work in liaison with your client to create something that solves the problem of the client. So as you take feedback, as you take information from the client, you ensure that whatever you're delivering to them can actually solve the problem that is required. So if somebody approaches you today, let's say a company that sells tea or coffee, and they say, we want to increase the sales of our products. So using your design knowledge, you'll combine a number of things. For example, we said that you can use pictures, right? You mentioned other elements like lines, you mentioned shapes, and you also mentioned color. So those things I said in the beginning that they cannot be used in isolation, since they rely on each other to pass a message or to make a meaningful representation of any graphical element. So when you look at different posters online, I believe that you've seen different companies advertising. We have Coca-Cola, Sony, LG, any brand or company that you can think of out there. They have different approaches to design. They have different styles of doing their design work. And that is how best we see that, okay, in a minute, let me know whether you can see my screen.
It's visible, sir.
It's visible. Okay, thank you, thank you. I believe the rest of the class can see that. Can you have a quick confirmation from 2 or 3 people?
I can see the screen.
Okay, thank you for that. So moving on to the next slide, I've actually had done most of these, so it will just be a quick running over of these. So we are defining what design is, the design elements and design principles. And first off, we have graphic design. And according to the American Institute of Graphic Arts, it's on the screen. I believe everyone can see that. Graphic design is defined as the art and practice of planning and projecting ideas and experiences with visual and textual content. So when we talk of, let's say, okay, let me enable annotation. When you talk about planning, for instance, I hope you can see the annotations on the screen. When you're talking about planning, it is that point of design where, for example, you're brainstorming and you start brainstorming with a solution in mind, with a problem in mind, okay? When you're talking about the problems of a client, I don't mean that your client akona headache ama shida za kifedha, you know? We're talking about what the client wants to do with their design. So that is where the planning comes in as the first thing in design, okay? Again, projecting of ideas. The projection of ideas is actually the execution of it. So you plan and you execute. And this is where the design tools come in. We have, yesterday we mentioned that we have different tools which can be used in different scenarios. And I gave an example of Adobe Illustrator, which is great for vector graphics. And these are mostly used in large formats. The likes of banners, billboards, hizo vitu tunaonanga huko nje in the large format. With visual and textual content. So when you're talking about visual, this is clear, right? Things which can be seen. and then textual content. In textual content, we'll talk about typography in one of these coming classes. So what you can see on this screen is just maybe a portion that has been picked from different areas. We have a definition up here. We have graphic design principles according to those things. So why did I choose maybe bold headings and lighter subheadings for the content and body? That is because we'll get to understand how typography works and how to apply it. Okay. And do you have a question to that point? Anybody with a question to that point before we can move on? Okay. When you talk about the design principles, these are the set of time-proven guidelines that humans have put together through trial and error for understanding how to represent the world. They serve as a map to arrange visual materials, shapes, colors, lines. What is bracketed here are actually what we call the design elements, okay? It's just a sneak peek of the design elements. This is not everything that there is. In the best way possible, according to a specific intention, strategy, or objective. So take note of these three things: specific intention, a specific strategy, and a specific objective. When you're talking about an intention, number one, we said when you're dealing with clients, you want to solve their problems. Number two, strategy. This is the manner through which you're going to apply each of the design principles and design elements to convey a message to solve a problem. And of course, the objective is reflective of the end goal of that design, which can be paired with the intention of that design. And I believe that is clear. So let me stop sharing for a moment. I'll be coming back to that. So we mentioned definition of some of the basic terms. These actually lays the foundation of it. And as we move on from tomorrow and the next classes, we'll be learning more and more about these. And don't forget that I mentioned these are the foundation of things of design. That is most likely what we'll be doing today and tomorrow, okay? So let me share my screen once more, this time a different view. I want to show you around one of the design tools which we will be using. My second screen. Okay. So let me know how they can see my screen and then we'll be good to go. Mnaona screen yangu?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Anne. So this is Adobe Illustrator. It's not very different from Photoshop, okay? They are more or like the same thing. What you can see on this screen is just a simple interface. It's not complicated, okay? But if you think that it is difficult, it may prove difficult na inaweza kukalia. So what you can see hapa kwa hii screen as I scroll ni tunaziita artboards, okay? And tunatumia artboards tukicreate content yenye maybe kona pages, vitu kama hizo. Ama kama una design poster, unataka something like let's say 10 variations of the same poster, or even you want to do different designs in one, you can use 10 artboards. Sawa sawa. So sitafunga Illustrator nianze from scratch, but we can start from here, from what we have. So in a minute, allow me to head to file. So ukifungua Illustrator, itakaa hivi for the first time, except for the content inside here. Of course, it's going to be a blank canvas, okay? So let's go to file and create new. This is how you create a new document. And kwenye mkono lapi, before ulale, make sure you make something today from what you'll be learning in this class. So click new, tumesema unaenda kwa file, new, lakini ukifungua, itakuletea this window yenye iko hapa. Can you see my mouse movements and all? I'll appreciate tukipata fast responses, ndio take a lot of time. So can you see my cursor movement on the screen?
Yes. Can someone confirm a member from the team?
Caleb? It is visible. Okay. Thank you, Caleb. So tukisha kuja hapa kwa new document, what you want to do ni create a new document. Sawa. So this is very simple. Kuna presets za recent. Hizi ni recent dimensions zenye umetumia. We have saved, hizi ni zenye sha save. Kwa mobile, hapa inakuletea presets zenye ni za mobile phone. So ready for the web, hii ni layout ya website, print, vitu kama hizo. But because we want to use a custom one, tutakuja tu hapa, tuchague the width of our document. The standard size, please take note of this. The standard size for social media posters is 1080 by 1080 pixels, okay? So we're going to use 1080 by, I hope you can see this, CC Water, by 1080 pixels. The number of artboards, kama unataka artboards 3, unaweza eka hapa. You can use this arrow, uweke, move 2, 3, okay? Ama, double click on this number, now type 3 kwa keyboard. Sawa. But, sometimes unaweza pata design yenye umetumia kwa the first artboard unataka kuitumia kwa the second artboard. So, utafanya duplicate artboard yako ukishaanza kudesign. So hakuna haja ya kuweka 2 artboards hapa already. Tukikuja hapa chini, we have what we call bleed advanced options. Kuna color modes, bleed and trim, but for now atutumie hizi, utaziacha tu vile ziko defaults, okay? They may not be applicable kwa digital design at this stage. Tuende kwa color mode. Color mode, RGB is used for digital designs. Vitu za display on what? On digital screens. Kuview on mobile phones, on laptops, desktops. Hizo vitu zote utatumia RGB. But if you're designing for print, choose CMYK. The cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay. RGB is simply red. Somebody has background noise, kindly mute. So we have red, the green, and blue for RGB. So tumesema for mobile tunatumia RGB. Next we have what we call raster effects. Simply any resolution, no? Let's choose a high resolution ya 300 pixels per inch. Sawa ama points per inch. So tunataka tukidesign kazi yetu isi lose quality rahisi. Ukiweka 72 ppi itatuma mara 2 WhatsApp ikae kitu kingine yenye hauwezi ona. Ushaona this meme ya somebody posting themselves anasema huyu ndio mtu wangu, but the picture is so blurry hauwezi tell the faces because of pixelation and a low pixel count. So we are going to use 300. Sawa. Preview mode, you can leave it as is and click create. Okay. Before we create, kuna kitu important hapa. Right here, I believe sisi wote tunaona. Hapa, kuna units of measurement. Si tulilearn units of measurements primary school. Meters, centimeters, inches, feet, yards, millimeters. Sawa. Of course, hauwezi pima poster in yards unless unatengeneza poster sijui inakaa aje. So, logically, we are either going to use pixels or labda hata centimeters and millimeters. Meters, kupima poster in meters ni sijui haitakuwa poa. So let's go by pixels. Na tulisema standard size ni 1080 by 1080 pixels. Sawa. And then to click create. Once we do that, Illustrator itafunguka na tutakuwa na this blank screen. Okay? So hadi hapo sisi wote tumejua how to open Illustrator. Right here on your left, yeah, which I believe is your left too from your end. So tuko na hizi vitu, tanizite hizi vitu for now, but you're going to know what this is. Hapa juu uko na the title of your document. Already inasema ni untitled kwa sababu hatujaipatia jina, sawa sawa. But if we go ahead and click, always save your work by the way before uanze kufanya kazi. Let's go ahead and click file, save as. Tunataka to save hii document mahali. Alafu tutaita aje? Mtu anipea a random name for this first document that you're creating. Rogers. What do we name this document? Our first document in class.
Any name?
Yes, a random name.
First project.
Okay, so first project. Utachagua tu your save location. Mimi nisha choose yangu na to click save. Alafu ukiclick hapo italeta hii window, okay? You don't have to change anything here. Leave it as it is and click okay. Sawa sawa. Nitaeleza baadaye why you don't need to change anything hapo. Kwa hivyo kuna kitu muhimu sana, a very important step, staki hata tuendelee kama hatujajua. Kuna kitu inaitwa preferences, and that is the first thing you should check ukianza kutumia Illustrator. So kuja hapa kwa edit, si tunaona mali nimeklika, tusipotee, tuko pamoja. A confirmation tuna follow. So tuende hapa kwa edit alafu preferences, okay? Tukienda kwa preferences, this is where you adjust the performance of your Illustrator. It is the same procedure kwa Photoshop. Sawa sawa. Ukiandika maybe kwa chat sahi naweza kosa kuona juu I'm focused on the screen na. So I'll appreciate nikiuliza swali nikipresent mtu mmoja can mute ajibu. Okay. Tumesema acha nianze tena. We go to edit, preferences, and then from here unaweza choose, do you want to adjust the general preferences, selection and anchor display? Acha tuanze kwa general. Hizo zote zitakuja in one place. So this is what will make the performance of your Illustrator ama Photoshop or any design software you will be using ikuwe rahisi, okay? Kwa general tuko na keyboard increment, constraint, angle. Hapa hakuna kitu muhimu ya kuchange, okay? So let me just see. Show tooltips. Tooltips ni ile ukikuja hapa kando umove your mouse. Let me close this. Let me demonstrate that. Si mnaona my cursor mahali iko, right? We can see my cursor. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Rogers, you can keep your mic on so that I get immediate feedback kindly. So with my cursor selected, if I move it kwa any of these tool, inasema direct selection tool, nini. Sometimes, kuna pen tool, kuna curvature tool, rectangle tool. If you go to edit and preferences and back to our general, easy tooltips, kuna times itakwambia select object, move object, itakuonesha how that tool is used. But if we disable it, with time utapata, tutakuwa tunaona it will just be the tools peke yake. So kwa selection and anchor point, hapo hakuna kitu ya kuchange. Let me just take you straight to the things which matter, about 3 of them. Twende pale kwa units. Assuming that ulikuwa umefungua your document, tulichagua pixels, lakini ukarealize ulifaa kupima your document in millimeters. Utakuja hapa kwa preferences, units, general, and change this to what? To millimeters. Sawa sawa. Ita take effects kwa document yako. So let's revert that to pixels. The second thing, when you come to guides and grid, there's nothing fancy about these. This cyan ni ya guides. Ukichora guides hivi. Unaonanga kwa Microsoft Word venye, okay, I'll show that. But there's nothing to change here. So tumesema utaangalia units, itakusaidia kubadilisha your units, okay? The next one, ile itatusaidia sana because I don't want to talk about everything. You see zote zitatumia for now. Tuende kwa file handling and clipboard. So hapa, the first thing, automatically save recovery data every, hapa imesema 2 minutes, sawa sawa. So kama umefanya kazi 1.5 minutes, haitakuwa ime auto-save, and that is risky. Usishangae yangu mbona iko 2 minutes na nasema it's risky. Let's change that to 30 seconds. This is Illustrator 2021, but I also have Illustrator 2023, the current version, and it is set to 30 seconds because I want every 30 seconds of editing, my work ikue auto-saved. Itakusaidia wakati maybe your software ita crash, utakuwa unaweza recover your documents. Turn off data recovery for complex documents. Sometimes utapata umeka too much data on the clipboard, umepaste mavitu, so the document inakuwa heavy. If you enable this, turn off data recovery for complex documents, itafanya your Illustrator ikue fast, but then that means if a document is too large, auto recovery will auto disable. Sawa sawa. And then save in the background. This means itakuwa non-destructive when using your work. Na pia unaweza export in your background. Hapa kwa recovery folder, you don't have to change anything. You can change where you want your data, your recovery data to be saved, but you can leave it as is, the Illustrator default. Let's head to the number of recent files to display. Ukifungua Illustrator tu hivi on the window, pale kwa recent, itakuletea the recent files. You can reduce this to 10 or 5, okay? Because more recent files zitakuwa na more load time na zinaweza kula more space. Again, we don't have to use this resolution for linked EPS. Let's leave it as is, same as this. Tuende kwa clipboard, you can leave it as default. Unaweza toa hii ama uyache tu vile iko. So let me see whether there is anything else. Kwa devices, kama unatumia a drawing tablet kama Wacom ama Huion, whichever it is, ukienable Wacom utakuwa unaweza connect Illustrator to a drawing tablet. If you're not using it, unaweza disable. But as I said, you can leave it as is. Tuende kwa performance, okay? Performance nayo ni kitu ingine muhimu. GPU performance. Watu, I believe tunaelewa IT. Kwa mfano kama uko na vitu kama ma graphics card nini kwa machine, utakuwa unaweza enable hii na uweke on. Sawa sawa. But that means machine itakula more resources kwa GPU, okay? So that means Illustrator itatumia vitu kama graphics card ku accelerate the processing of your documents. If you check this, unaweza tumia animated zoom. If you don't want to, utafanya aje? Utaiacha ikiwa unchecked, okay? So mine is inbuilt, yeah, AMD of course, but kama uko na an additional graphics card, the better, but inategemea ni size gani, make gani, but usijipe pressure na graphics card sahi kama you just starting, you may not need it. So you can uncheck this if you want faster performance, but kama machine I support, leave it as is and click OK to make changes. Sawa. So at least we now know how to edit our preferences, we know how to create a new document in Illustrator, and we know how to save a new document. Sawa. So somebody take note of the chat section. Dominic, you can do that kindly for us. In case kukuwe na swali by the time tunamaliza lesson, you can check or if anything has been raised pale kwa chat. So let me give you a brief overview of these tools, and I'll be concluding this class in about 10 minutes from now. Alafu unaweza take questions from you guys. So tukuje hapa sasa. Hizi ni nini unaona kwa screen? Hizi ni manini. So, usishangae. Let me find a good place. Yeah, let me position it in the middle. So how do we move? Napenda kufunza as I do things, because you saw me move this artboard. Move aje. If you hold down the space bar kwa keyboard, so na hiyo handle, hiyo symbol ya mkono inatokea. Hold on space bar, inactivate the hand tool. Sawa. If you want to do it in another way, you can press H on the keyboard. It enable the hand tool. So the hand tool itaku-enable to move your artboard around this display window, okay? Next, let's talk about the essential tools. Hapa zenye tutatumia. Tunaona hii rectangle, and of course ni ya kuchora rectangle. If you click on it na ukuje hapa, hivyo tu ufanye kitu simple that way, itakuchorea nini? A rectangle. Sawa sawa. So we have that, okay? Number 2, I mentioned this selection tool. Ukiselect hii na move around, ina move the selected object. Assuming that we had 2 objects, if you want to draw a circle first, unaweza kuja hapa kwa hii rectangle, right click, itakupea more tools. So anytime you see a tool na iko na ka arrow hapa chini na point downwards, inamaanisha there are more tools. So right click, tufungue ellipse tool ndio ya kuchora circle. Ukichora hivi, tunaona inachora vitu combo, si ndio? Now that circle is not perfect, but if you want to draw a perfect circle, uta hold down the shift key with the ellipse tool selected, hold down the shift key, alafu uchore your circle. No matter how big or how small it is, it will be a perfect circle. Sawa sawa. And I believe that is clear. Tumesema hii direct selection tool ina move the selected object, okay? But the hand tool ina move the entire artboard. And then we have what we call, and we also have another selection tool. I will show you what this tool does, okay? Yeah, because it's kind of different from the other one. So to highlight hapa na to enable hii tool, inatusaidia ku work on specific points, what we call anchor points kwa your object. Sawa sawa. So the direct selection tool ina select the entire object, okay? But ukitaka kuselect specific anchor points kama hii edge, hii rectangle hivi, unatumia this anchor point tool or the direct selection tool A, okay? Yeah, halafu una drag hivo. That's simple. So that is just a simple illustration of how you use the basic tools. And as we go on, tutaendelea kutumia the pen tool. In your pen tool hii ni kama kalamu. The only difference is badala ya kuchora na something like a pencil, with the pen tool, if you're drawing any shape, you just have to master it, know how to manipulate different shapes. So when you come up with something random, ujue which tools you can move to adjust individual points, which tools you can use to adjust points in bulk, okay? Yeah, so we'll be learning that tukisonga mbele, but as you can see, this is very easy. The last thing I'm going to mention, tumechora our tool hapa, assuming that you want to change the color. Now, let's come to this panel here hapa. So tunaona hapa this side, kuna properties. In case ufungue na uone properties, utakuja kwa window, na scroll chini kabisa, utaona properties. Sawa sawa. In case ukuja hapa hadi mwisho na hujaona kitu ulikuwa unataka, unaweza click hii arrow ya juu, reveal things zenye ziko juu, ama ya chini to reveal things which are below point yenye imefika. So properties kama iko checked, properties ita reflect hapa. Ukiselect hii document, anytime you want to make an adjustment to a specific object, i-click kwanza, alafu ukuje kwa properties and then appearance. So we have fill and stroke, okay? If I double click on fill or click once on fill, itakuletea this RGB option. Here, unaweza type a color manually. Let's say a color like orange, that will be FC6700. Click enter and it will change to orange. Sawa sawa. If you choose another color, like white, you can either, sorry, let's go back there. You can either select it directly. Unaweza iko hapa, here, or use the codes, the FFF, okay? Ama we select hapa. Kama utaki kutumia hizi codes, ukikuja hapa kwa the swatches, what you call color swatches, unaweza select from the available colors. So hiyo ni fill. If you don't want any fill, una click hii yenye inasema none. Iko na a red ikicross hapa ndani hivyo, there is no fill. To click hapa kwa stroke. Stroke nayo ni nini? A stroke ni kama ka line around your object, ina outline your object. If we select a black stroke, our object itakaa hivyo. So naona it's different from what we had pale nyuma. Let me move it aside, maybe to a place yenye iko transparent. So at least hapa hakuna hiyo white background. It's here. So unaweza ona the black iko around your object. So if you want to enable the stroke, una click to hapo and select a desired color. And you can adjust the size of this stroke kwa kutumia hizi arrow keys, ama double click hapa ndani, alafu uandike maybe a stroke size of 20, something like that. And that is how the fill and stroke work when you're designing. So let me stop sharing my screen. And yeah, back to you. So I believe that, okay, let me not say what I believe or what I think, but I want you guys to just briefly, let me have some feedback from you. From your first lesson, how do you find like graphic design? Because this is just a simple introduction of what you will be doing. Sawa. Yeah, na kama you have a laptop, hauna hizi tools, Dominic will be guiding you on how to get them pale kwa group. Sawa. Yeah, so Cynthia Atieno, you can unmute and tell us, give us your feedback. Cynthia. Alafu watu wasitoroke wakati wa maswali.
Yes, the session has been good, and I am eager to learn more. Yeah, I've enjoyed the lesson.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. Anybody else?
Also, I have a compliment.
Yes.
Yeah, the session was also entertaining. It was knowledgeable. Alafu nimeona hizi vitu ni vitu tu tuna apply kwa hizi, unapata maybe DTP kama unatumia bado kama somehow ziko related, so it's easy. Yeah. Alafu nilikuwa nataka kuuliza unatumia nini? Unatumia Illustrator gani?
I have both 2021 and 2023.
Are they the purchasable ones ama kuna za free?
Hakuna free. Yeah. But for now, you can try I think we're gonna about 30 days trial period. And I think that is enough to facilitate e-learning. Yeah, but we'll talk about that, so don't worry about it. You'll be guided. Yeah. Sawa. Thank you. That was Erica. Thank you for the feedback. Okay. Any other question? So thank you. I can see Dominic is engaging here pale kwa comments, anajibu maswali. Yeah, thank you for checking that. Kuna mtu ako na a burning question. Okay, let me see. Thank you, Terry. So kwa wale watu tuko na yes, Rogers.
Those color codes, how does one know them?
How do you know the color codes? Okay. Nitasema aje. You can research na pia over time, for example, ukitumia black 2-3 times utakuwa umeshika color code yake. Lakini si lazima ujue color codes. Okay, because you asked that, let me show you something in 1 minute. 1 minute ukisha alert me. So, let me draw 4 squares right here. And when you draw something and move it, if you want to repeat an action in Illustrator, you press Ctrl and D. So it is going to repeat whatever you did. So kama umechukua something, ukamove kama hii. Instead of moving it tena, press Control D, ita repeat that action. Sawa sawa. So those are some of the tips zenye hautaona eti whole lesson dedicated to that. So nimesema you don't have to cram the color codes because kama uko na, let me pick a picture online, a random one. A picture of what? Maybe a book. Okay, images. Copy that image na tuiweke kwa Illustrator. Just a minute. So copy image. Okay, so tumecopy picture online. Sawa sawa. Nimesema uhitaji kukram hizi color codes because ukipick hii eyedropper tool na uiweke juu ya an object, hiyo color ndo itafill the shape yenye umeselect. So unaweza tumia a reference ya picha. My 1 minute ikelapse, let me know. Alafu unafanya hivyo kucreate colors zenye utawak nazo. I do this, I think 90% of the times huwa na gather colors hivi before nianze kudesign. So umeona how simple it is. I will have kukram eti orange is FC 6700. Sindio, ama the code gray 1C1C. You don't have to, but if you find yourself in a position ya kukuwa able kuzijua offhead, it's still okay. But you can use this method ya kuweka your primary colors pamoja na always unaweza ziweka at the top of your design zikuwe kama reference point. Ndio anything you're designing kama hii, ukipick eyedropper tool, uselect a color, hiyo color itakuwa applied kwa your design. Unaanza na kuiselect na ile selection tool, you pick the eyedropper tool na uclick to ile rangi unataka kutumia, and just like that utakuwa una change your colors easily. I believe 1 minute is over and was able to answer that question. I think it was from Rogers. So Terry is asking, it's pretty interesting. Is there an alternative app? Okay. One can use apart from Adobe Illustrator. You've mentioned the trial. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah, more details will be shared on the group. But if you're looking for free alternatives, kuna hii app inaitwaje? It's a software. Okay, inaitwaje? Nikikumbuka jina nitawaambia. There's a software you can use. I think it's free. Not so sure, but we'll confirm the prices. So we'll give you alternatives both for Android and PC as well. So Domia amesema kuna master collection, hizo software zote. So by the end of this tutakuwa tumejua ni gani utatumia wapi. Kuna mtu mwingine ako na swali kwa chat ama ufungue mic?
Hello.
Yes, Sami.
Okay, my question is, nimekuja late, sorry for that, lakini sasa kuna way that mtatumia, maybe someone can go through these lessons na elewe kabisa, ama it will be just
just what?
So nimeuliza hii platform mmeanzisha.
Yeah,
their lesson, maybe someone, maybe kama mimi nataka to know more about this thing. So, utakuwa na lesson, maybe mnaweza allocate time hii utakuwa ama ni through the Zoom kuanzia 2:8 hivi?
Well, it's a good question. I think I'll forward that to Dominic and his team. Alafu maybe later on watakuwa wametuambia how to go about it and stuff. Sawa.
So, Mark.
Yes.
Anything else before I? Do you have anything you'll? Okay, thank you. So just to answer Sami Melta. So what we do, after this training, we believe mtakuwa me gain, but in case you feel you want to know more than what you have learned, we'll make arrangements with the speaker And because actually the speaker, I think, trains people. Is it right, Mark?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so sure. So if you are interested, we can link you, but now it will be your one-on-one agreement with the speaker. I think, guys, our time is far much spent. Thank you all for joining. And as we finalize, I would like to invite Esther to close the meeting. Jana alikuwa absent. Esther, kindly. And guys, kindly type your full name on the chat as Esther unmutes, just to mark your attendance. Type your full name on the chat. Esther, karibu tufunge. So Sims Sayuko with us. Justus, kindly close the meeting for us. Come on, pattern. Justus Mukwa.
Yes.
I kindly say something as you conclude.
So good evening. So my name is Justus Mukwa. I think some of you we were with you yesterday during the opening meeting. So I don't have much to say. So I'd like to thank our speaker first for good job. So the first time I think I've gained a few things from what I learned the first code that I think it's around 2019 there or something. So I'm keeping learning, and I hope also others are learning bit by bit. So it's a process. So I like to thank all those being trained for attending, and I encourage others who have not joined and they are in the process of joining, so that we go together as a team. So I don't have much. I wish you a blessed night. See each other tomorrow at the same time, same place, that is the online meeting. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Type your name, otherwise adios. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Feel free to leave the meeting after you've typed your name on the chat.
Okay. Dominic, I've posted an assignment.
Yes, Oh, sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So check kwa Google Classroom. There's an assignment there for you. Kindly do it before the close of the night. Yeah, that is before Lale. I'll be marking the work.
Thank you, Mark. And guys, I think date 10 Simbali. Hata kama una laptop, you can go. Yeah, bye-bye.
I have a question, man. Yo.
Yes. Go on. There's a question.
Is it possible for you people to be recording these sessions?
Yes, actually they're being recorded. Only that we will upload them to YouTube first, and it will take much time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, hope you will try it.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay then. So kama una swali na umetype jina, feel free to leave.